Hi there, if you've been following me on Instagram recently, you'll know that I've been doing a whole series of these little works on paper. There's a lot going on in these little paintings and they're a lot of fun to do. I'm playing around with collage, different types of paint, different types of drawing materials like soft pastels and oil pastels, pencils, and just having a really good play around with the surface and experimenting with them to get some visual ideas going in my sketchbooks here. But there's one particular process which I've been finding a lot of fun, and that's what I want to talk to you about today. It is just part of the process though, but I'm finding it a very useful part and very interesting mark that can actually lead to generating something exciting happening on the surface. So I'll do a bit of it now and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so what I'm talking about is this kind of printed mark. It's almost like a sort of monoprint type mark that I've got here. And I just find it really interesting because it's very layered and it's a nice big brush mark. It looks like a big brush mark, but actually because of the layering, it's just a little bit more interesting than if I was to just have the brush mark here on its own. And it's just something I've been using underneath as part of the process to kind of push the paintings forward. And what it is there are some big brush marks underneath with the white paint, but then I've worked over the top of that and kind of printed some of this darker paint over the top. And it's lifted some of the white, it's lifted some of that up, but it's also printed some of the dark on top. So it's just a really interesting mark. And like I said, it's just part of the process. And I've been using it as an underneath layer for quite a lot of these little paintings. So here it is again here, this little mark, but it's underneath. Let me see if I can find the actual painting. If it's just here. So I'm looking at this mark underneath and it's been worked over a lot, but it's a really good textural movement mark and it just adds a lot of energy to the painting. And it is a big brush mark and it does have that movement of the big brush mark about it, but because it's got that layering and it's not just on its own, it feels like it's really part of the painting. It isn't just sitting on the surface. And there's another bit of it here where I've got this piece of collage that I've added in and then worked over the top with this pencil. And there's a bit of crushed pastel here as well. But I just find it really interesting. It's just layered and it's quite an exciting movement mark. And it really feels like it's part of the painting, gives it a lot of weight. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is get my brush mark going. So what I want to do, you don't have to have anything on here. It could be a clean bit of paper, as you'll see. I just want to get some paint on here. And this is just some heavy body acrylic. It's nothing fancy. Could do with a new tube of that by the looks of it. And I've just got one of these little stubby brushes that I like to use. I just want to make my nice big brush marks. It's important that it's light underneath because I want it to do dark over light and let the light come through. So I'm just going to use this white acrylic for that. Just get some nice big brush marks. I like these big kind of swoopy marks. And that'll do. Now what I'm going to do is just let it dry a little bit. I don't want it to go completely dry, but I want it to start to film over. I just want the paint to start to film over just slightly. So it's got a kind of tackiness to it, so it's slightly sticky before I put the dark over the top. So I'll just stick that there while I get this ready. Okay, so just got a bit of newsprint, which I'm finding very useful at the moment, and some more acrylic paints. I'm just going to use this black and put a bit of that on there. Just straight onto the newsprint, because this is what I'm going to use to print on top of the textured paint. That's just neat, straight out of the tube. I'm just going to brush that on and get a nice sort of even layer of the black on there. And it's been a few minutes, so this white is probably dry enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this black acrylic paint straight on top of the white and just press it down. Might have a couple of layers of newsprint just to stop it coming through, and just really press it down. And then when I peel it off, hopefully I'll get something interesting. Well, some of the paper's stuck a little bit, but that's okay. I don't mind that too much. Well, there you go. That's can be quite nice as well, the remnants. And it's nothing fancy, and I'm not pretending for a moment that this is some kind of groundbreaking technical process that's going to transform any painting. But it is quite interesting. It's just a nice way of making a mark. I actually quite like the way this paper has torn off and stuck to the surface as well. That's quite nice. And the added bonus is, of course, you get some nice pieces from the transfer as well that you can use maybe for collage. So, you know, these are nice pieces. I wouldn't be surprised if I was going to carry on with this piece that I added some of this back on. I could tear some of this out and collage it back in to the painting just to build up another layer. So actually that works quite well, so I might just do that. Okay, that was it really. Just a quick little process, little mark making process that you can use at any point during a painting, whether it's at the beginning to get it started or at any other point really. And often what I'll do is I'll put that kind of mark down and then work over it and then repeat it again to see what happens on the surface and react to what's happening on the surface as I go through the painting. Okay, if you're interested in finding out any more about the kind of work I do and how I teach, then do check out the links to my website that's in the description to the video. Okay, I'll see you soon.